3 summers ago, I worked at a 24-hour fast food restaurant place in my hometown. I worked as cashier and took orders during the mornings, which are the busiest. It was my summer job, and I had just started working about a month prior to this incident. One morning at work, I was on duty as cashier. I ran into the back room to grab something quickly. When I came back to the register, I saw that the customer at my register was being helped by my coworker. However, he didn't seem happy, and my coworker was confused about my workplace. The people I worked with were predominantly immigrants from India. They had worked for some years in the workplace, but they had an accent which some people couldn't understand. Myself also being an immigrant from Sri Lanka at the age of 1, I understand the language barrier from my parents and other families. So I'm trying to figure out what happened, and I see that the customer was a white male, about 50 years old, who was frustrated at my coworker. He saw that I was a cashier and said, "People here need to take an English class and learn how to speak our language correctly." I was so intimidated and shocked that he had said this to me. My coworker was in her 40s with someone I was close to, and I had no idea what to say to her. She ignored the situation and went on to help other cashiers. I felt even though he was directing the message to her, he was also discriminating me because I look like her, or Indian, yet speak without an accent. I was in disbelief so much that I just took his order and was polite and didn't mention it again. I was thinking if I should stick up for my coworker and risk the embarrassment, or if I should apologize or even follow up with my coworker to see if she was okay. I was thinking if I should give him an attitude and be discriminate back, or maybe even just leave the register and let one of my other coworkers handle it. But I just stood there and took orders from him politely. I think there wasn't really an effective response, especially because I was young and a new face working there. I think it would have gone south if I did challenge the situation because I didn't want to talk back and get in trouble for saying something because as a fast food worker, I had to obey the customer. This is an example of social inequality. Specifically, it's an issue of racial inequality. His comment on how my coworker needs to learn English because of her accent says that he was discriminating her race and ability to assimilate to the national language. One could say that it could also be depicted as inequality within socioeconomic status, because this white working man who is well into his 50s felt that he can speak to me and my coworker this way because we both worked in a low-wage fast food restaurant. From class, we discussed how gender, class, and race were some of the main features that lead to social inequality. Gender, in this case, we were both women, and seeing that he was superior to us, we let him speak to us that way. Race served as a disadvantage because we were both from foreign countries, and his comment was prejudice. Socioeconomic class was also involved in this incident, since we were both low to middle class workers, and he was a working man. All three of these embody unequal treatment. Another concept from class that relates to the situation is W.E.B. Du Bois's double consciousness. Like Du Bois in his time, I felt pity as I reevaluated myself in terms of race. Even though there are two identities, being American and South Asian for me and my coworker, this customer unintentionally made me feel inferior even though I had no accent in my speech. A third concept from class would be that the customer viewed my coworker's master status as race first and immigrant or foreigner, which was constraining for her position. Social stratification is supported in the situation to maintain and normalize inequality because my coworker is seen as the lower part on the scale of worthiness to the customer. Another concept is emotional labor. I could not argue with the customer because I had to control my feelings, since it would have been a bad look. Emotional labor encourages social inequality because I couldn't challenge the customer's comment. In other institutions, people may experience the same thing because service and product is of high importance to businesses. In the end, I'm not sure what I could have done differently. I think staying calm and collected was the best approach I used. But if I were to say something to that customer today, I would say something along the lines of, many people that come here understand her English, and try to flip the switch and put it more at his fault than her fault. Again, emotional labor and being uncomfortable had a lot to do with my reaction. The social structure of this incident displays that my behavior or agency was limited because the workplace structure created was incapable to challenge the customer's perceptions.